Hello, welcome. It is the transfer show here. I am on my own at the moment. Give Ped a few minutes to see if he was getting in. He's not here yet, so I'm sure he will join me. You can see his coffee is waiting. I'm sure he'll join me at some stage, but I'm here. Ned is over there. I might ask him to talk every now and again. You never know. You might be that lucky. Who knows? Who knows? It is the transfer latest. Yeah. Let's start with Everton. Shall we? Linked last night with Conor Gallagher. A loan move for Conor Gallagher. Crystal Palace also interested in taking Gallagher. That one, if there was any opportunity for Everton to get him, that one would be a really, really good signing for Everton on loan. Because he can score goals from midfield, which is something that we don't have, quite frankly. Whether there's anything in it, I don't know. Right now, I'm sure Everton have inquired. He's a good player and he's available for loan. Everton do have a domestic loan left and they have a European loan as well. So that one, I think that one would be a really good one for Everton if they could get involved in that. Whether he might just want to go back to Crystal Palace. He had a good time there last season. They're obviously mid-table. Everton, it's a little bit more difficult, the task ahead. But then he might fancy playing for Frank Lampard. He's, being at Chelsea when Lampard was there. How long Lampard's at Everton remains to be seen. But he might fancy coming to Everton. He might fancy a different experience. Yeah, like I said, he had Crystal Palace last season. So we'll see what happens with that one. Obviously, there's Duvan Zapata, who West Ham are very interested in as well. So great choice for him, isn't it? One relegation club or another relegation threatened club. So that's a tricky one for him to make that choice over. I hope he chooses West Ham. I'm not going to lie. I know people might want him because he's a forward and all that. But he's a forward who has had a bad injury last season. His goal record isn't incredible. And just by magic, there you go. There's your coffee. His goal record isn't incredible, but who are we going to get with an incredible goal record at this time on loan? Nobody is the answer, isn't it? So therefore, I said yesterday, Dembele would be one I would rather have than Zapata. And then obviously Everton is still in. It's still ongoing with Danjuma. Everton, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, all interested in him. Of course, Forest would be interested in him. They're interested in everybody. And so that one's still ongoing. So Everton have still got, still in the mix. Is it quick enough for any of us? Of course it isn't. We wanted it done. We'd hoped this kind of stuff would have been done in advance of the transfer window, but it hasn't been. And we are where we are, and in a week where, people wanted talk, wanted the board, something's happened with the board, nothing's happened. In a week where people thought Frank Lampard had been moved on, nothing's happened. And it isn't difficult to see why Evertonians are worried, are wound up, and want some action of some sort, and there doesn't seem to be that imminently happening on any of those three fronts right now, does it? So it's where we are. Good afternoon, mate. Good afternoon. Conor Gallagher, is he someone who you would welcome through the doors at Goodison Park?
I'd take him on loan, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be any of that. Alanga doesn't seem to be one that's going to happen.
Dortmund want him, don't
yeah, and plus I don't think he's that good anyway. I think he's just a name that's been put out there to try and get people excited. I don't think he's very good. I spoke to the United stand a couple of weeks ago, and they were just like, "I can have him. He's not very good."
Yeah,
I don't think he'd be an upgrade. So we definitely an option because we don't have that kind of play. We don't have someone who'll run into the box late,
score goals.
Someone who you can, because what we need to start doing is just putting the ball in the box.
Yeah.
I think we've got the players to do that, but we need a runner. I'm seeing Southampton.
I was going to say, yeah.
But we've seen them with Ward-Prowse. Someone just coming.
Well, they've changed his position, haven't they?
Someone just off a knockdown. We've got players who can do that all day. We've got Dom who can do that all day if he stays fit. We need someone who's going to. Wobby doesn't do that.
No,
he doesn't. He doesn't actually do that much, but he doesn't do. That's not his type of game.
He's probably better off alongside Onana.
Yeah, he probably is. So he's got the game in front of him a little bit. So we definitely need that kind of player. Where do we can get them? I mean, Chelsea have got an embarrassment of riches. It is actually laughable again that if Brozier had stayed fit, he could have just got him now.
Oh yeah, yeah. He'd have been here.
It wouldn't have been an issue at all. But they have got an embarrassment of riches. I mean, you can imagine something like Crystal Palace would come in for them because they're struggling as well, and that would make sense for them to get him in. But for us, I'd probably look at it. I mean, again, you've got to look at the situation and say, what have you got? What are the different? I think we all know what we want. We want a winger or an attacker or someone. But are they out there on loan domestically? There might be a couple. There might be some we can do. We can do abroad, and if we can do a couple. Get maybe send Vinagre back or whatever. I don't know how that deal is structured, but he's just that's just a position being filled like El Ghazi was now again. That comes down to poor recruitment. It comes down to not understanding what or not poor recruitment as such. I think bringing him in made sense, but if there's an option to get rid of him now because he's not needed, he's not playing, then they've looked at him and said he's just not good enough, then you are filling a space that's just not, there's no point in doing. I've heard people saying, just pay the money and get Connor Cody in. Well, can you really do that though? Is that a risk too far? Is Connor Cody, if you paid the 4 or 5 million for him now, and then Everton get relegated? You need someone
do well in the Championship.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but you're still carrying that debt though, aren't you? Where you wouldn't be carrying that
4
debt.
million's not enough, is it really?
I don't know. At the moment it seems like a lot. That's the problem.
No, but
isn't
the
it?
problem, I get your point.
It's taking 4 million away from somewhere else, isn't it? That's what I mean. Right at the moment, it's taking £4 million away from maybe something else. It's all right in isolation, saying 4 million is not that much. But if you're looking, if Everton can put a deal together and someone says, I want 4 million up front, and you've just put it on Connor Cody, do you know what I mean?
I think that'll happen in the summer.
Oh, it'll happen in the summer. I'm talking about now. I'm talking about the risk factor now. If Everton, with Everton, but I just think.
Imagine if we don't sign anyone and we just sign Cody permanently, and they go, "Told you, we've signed someone." I
think we all know what's going to happen now. I think it comes to Saturday. Saturday, there's a gap of 2 weeks. There's 10 days in the transfer window, or so. There's no game. You can sort out your manager and your players in that time. It's not good. It's not healthy for the football club.
Stupid.
It's you're putting you're doing what you did last season. You put all your eggs in one basket and hope that they don't get smashed.
I'm told Dan Hume is ongoing.
Well, it will be, won't it? Because he'll be
Everton is still in the fight.
He'll be exploring every option, and he'll be playing those people off against each other till he gets the best deal. He's not just going to go, oh, I like the look of this team. No. He's going to play them off till the last minute. He's not in any rush. He knows he doesn't even have to, and he's not even that good, and that's where we are again. We've got in that situation where people are now begging for signs, and signs are not that good. And that's where we as fans have got to learn our lesson as well. Is that we've done this in the past.
What I would say, the only thing I'd say about him is he's better than what we've got. That's fair. I think that's fair. Last year he got 10 goals for Villarreal, so he's someone who puts the ball in. Oh, sorry, we spoke about that feeling of scoring goals and that. Conor Gallagher falls into that as well. He got 8 or 9 goals last season, didn't he, from midfield? We don't have anything like that in our team. But you're right. If you're going, let's be honest, I think you said it yesterday, if you're going for players towards the end of the transfer window, they're not players they're not players you want, are they? The players who you're looking around going, right, could these give us a touch for a few months? And that's when you're desperate and when the club isn't run correctly and you haven't done it properly. And I know Kevin Thelwell's still trying to, I am a little bit cautious of just calling him out because I'm aware that the parameters he's working in are difficult, And also, it isn't easy this window to get, like you said yesterday, World Cup has delayed people. Not so much in our club's willing to get rid of them, but just where are the club's first team players at that stage? Are they tired? Are they injured? The clubs just want to keep hold of these lads for a few more weeks and then go, okay, yeah, we're listening now. Where they weren't prepared to do that early on. There is lots of different things. It doesn't mean Everton have done things correctly, because I don't think they have. But there is obviously mitigating circumstances as well, or some things have made Kevin Thelwell, I imagine, job a little bit more difficult. But this is still a product of everything that's gone before, isn't it? We shouldn't be scrapping around in January. January, to me, is the month where you look for, if you're like someone like Newcastle or you're Arsenal, you're going, you know what, we're or even Man U, we're way ahead of where we thought we were going to be. Is there anything here that just gives us something a little bit different? Or, obviously, it's like us, we're at the bottom and we're going, is there a spark? But if you're doing your work properly, January should just be, we'll have a little nosy around and see if there's anything that we think will make a difference. And there's no stress on it.
Again, I was watching that transfer documentary on Sky, and they're sitting down with Edu, and he's like, it was last summer, and he's like, well, I'm planning January and next summer now. I'm getting the targets lined up. I'm seeing what we need. I'm seeing where players are going out of contract, or players that we want to move on, and what we want to replace, and how we want to improve the team. And it's the problem with Everton is we just don't have that, because we don't have a structure in place. And Kevin Fellwell's been in the job 12 months, and he's had to restructure a hell of a lot of Everton Football Club behind the scenes, bring in a load of people, still trying to bring in people, but there's still clearly divisions in the football club. There's still clearly things happening behind people's backs. There's still clearly a process where the owner is doing one thing while other people are trying to do another thing. There's a culture at Everton that is just rotten to the core, and it's affecting everything, isn't it? It really is affecting everything. And how can you have a long-term strategy when the guy hasn't been in a year? How can you do that? How can you set out the plans when the manager hasn't been in a year and is fighting for his life just to get results? It's a symptom of the culture of the football club, and it's rotten. It's absolutely rotten. And we sit here now, and it's Wednesday, and we're waiting for, again, time is just passing us by, and there's the club seems rudderless, completely rudderless. More stories coming out last week. Again, the Athletic peddling shite again last night. That's all they're doing, peddling shite. And the club have just keep on digging a hole, just keep digging a hole for itself, instead of addressing what really needs to be addressed. They are still picking fights with the wrong people, which is the fans, and it's gay for them, because they're probably thinking, well, everyone's looking at this rather than looking at this. No one's asking what's going on with Frank Lampard. No one's asking where the signings are. Everyone's looking in this direction, which is this, allegation of an assault and board members not being able to attend the games. Everyone's looking in this direction. It's classic tactics. It's classic political tactics. All look over there at this non-story that we've created, while the real problem's over there, and that's what's going on right now. And we're sitting here and we're like, where's the sign? I mean, Matt Law's just put in his paper there, David Moyes out the door for West Ham on Saturday, and beat Everton. So, and it's, I don't even think Everton have got the nous to even create stories like that, because they've got alternative motives at the moment, and it's just,
well, we wouldn't anyway, though, would we? We wouldn't anyway, because it'd be the same thing, isn't it? Gareth Jones says, I have to tell you this, my son is 10 years old and the school have asked us not to send him in his Everton bag and hat because he's getting picked on. Shocking. He's still going in with them though. That's grim, mate. But that's what happens, isn't it? I mean, well, it's not, because it shouldn't happen, but what I mean is kids will say things, won't they? And kids can be cruel, of course they can. That's horrible, that though, and you just keep checking on him. I'm sure you will do anyway. See if he's all right. There's there's a big thing. You know, football, we do have to remember, and we're all guilty, we're all absolutely guilty of this, right? Is that we have to remember that it's a game at the end of the day. It's important. I'm not saying it's not important. This is important. Of course it is. But it's a game, isn't it? And we have to make sure we're all a little bit more responsible at times with things and just carry ourselves, you know, in the correct manner. But the thing is, with kids, you can't plan against that, can you? All you can ask is that the school deal with those kind of things. If your kids, you know, your lad's standing up for himself and going, I'm an Evertonian, leave me alone, whatever. Fair play to him. But kids can be cruel. But right now, you know, the football club are giving nobody anything to be proud of. And that isn't all down to people who work at the football club. Of course it isn't. There's a lot that goes into a Premier League football team. Everton just right now are making it very difficult for everybody. Very difficult for everybody. And I imagine very difficult for the people who are working there and are being told what to put out. You know, and it's difficult, I imagine, to go against what you're told, isn't it? Difficult. But all, you know, everyone's working, you know, struggling. Everything's more expensive. Are people really in some positions? And this is where I do slightly have a bit of sympathy for the Athletic, right? The two lads from the Athletic. I'm not saying I back them or I don't. What I'm saying is I have a little bit of sympathy. If it's their own decision, then I've got no sympathy. But if it's the decision of somebody higher, and this applies to the football club as well, if your boss is telling you to do something, it's great. We can all be principled, can't we? And go, I wouldn't do it. I'd resign, rather. I've said it about Brands, didn't I? You know, I said if it was me, I'd resign. That's fine if you've got somewhere to go. We have to be very careful that, you know, we have all the things. But I think Everton are just making it difficult for everybody. People, like I say, going into work at Everton Football Club who are probably good people trying to do the job. They're making it difficult there. Difficult for people in the stores, the mega story type things, you know. People going to really be motivated to go and buy Everton stuff? No. People who are going in the offices. Is there a police presence at the Liver buildings? Because I would have thought if they're that scared to go to the match, I'd be more... me personally, if I was worried about that, I'd be more scared going to the Liver buildings because you park away and you walk in, anyone could be around. So, you know, are they going into... So there's a lot of things going on here at play. And on top of that, obviously, like I've just said before, because of the ridiculous mistakes we've made over the last 6 or 7 years, people like Kevin Thelwell now have come into the job are having a really tough time trying to do a job as that he would like to do. And it's crap. And the result of that, the result of all this turbulence, the result of all this poor decisions means that we're seeing what we're seeing on the pitch. And we're seeing an indifferent team, aren't we? But, you know, could this team be better? Probably. But it's underperforming. Is that the manager's fault? Well, some of it will be, because it's his job, whether we like it or not. It's his job to do it, isn't it? You get paid. And I'll just what you mentioned the Diary of a CEO last night to me, David Moyes. I've watched it all. You know, and I do like that. I know people don't like, some people don't like. I like David Moyes. I like listening to him, and I think he is like a bit of a warm, cuddly blanket, isn't he? Yes. To where we are when you hear him talk and you listen to things he says, and he's right. And there was a couple of things he said which I thought were dead interesting. One was, I immediately thought of you, to be honest, when he said one of these things. But when people are getting stick and abuse, it's the family as well. And I did think I like Dwight McNeil. But there is bigger things around it, but also about like players and what type of player you need in that dressing room. Yeah. And it's like the characters, the ones. And I know people are hard work and you just go, oh, for fuck's sake, that's what we're going for now. No, but you got to have that, haven't you? You got to have that as a non-negotiable. A lad who pulls that Everton shirt on for you. If Everton would have ran their nuts off on Saturday, hit the bar. Bazzunu's making all kinds of saves. They're giving everything for the cause, and we lose. They'd have been clapped off. They wouldn't
go that far.
I've seen Everton. Some people
we
clapped Everton off against Leicester.
We were playing the bottom of the
table.
They wouldn't have been clapped off. They just wouldn't have.
Would they have been? You're not fit to wear the shirt.
No. But there's a massive gulf between those two things.
Oh, there is, but they got. Right. What I couldn't believe is they got clapped off at Old Trafford. No, at Old Trafford.
No, at Old Trafford because they put in a shift, and the people there wanted to show that appreciation.
So they would have. Right. So they would have been appreciated. They got a bit of stick on Saturday because they didn't do all of those things.
Didn't do anything.
And they got beat by the bottom team.
Didn't do anything.
And characters are really important. Building a team's really important. And it's a really good interview with Moyes, actually. Some really good bits in it to take away and all of that stuff.
It's a great good interview.
That Stephen's really good. The lad who hosts it's really good. And I enjoyed it. Enjoyed listening to it. It was good and some good insights and things about players. And it was funny because I wondered if he was going to mention Bellamy. And he said I've had people in the office, but he had lots at Everton who were in his office ready to sign, and he pulled the plug on them. And he was like, I got quite a few wrong, but at the time you got to go with your gut feeling. And Everton, I don't think have gone with a gut feeling over the last 5 or 6 years. I think we've just gone. And he said himself, didn't he? I think Stephen said to him, didn't he? Have you had players pushed on you? And he's gone, well, I've always tried to push back. But I don't think too many Everton managers have pushed back in that time. Yeah.
Certainly, like yesterday, we spoke about
El Ghazi.
The situation with the director of football yesterday, and like Potter not having a choice over players. You've got to have trust, haven't you? You've got to have trust between the two fellas. You've got to have a place where you get down to maybe the last 3 and then decide whether...
Do you think with Dave? Because I wondered if it'd come up because I know West Ham tries to do things differently. Just on an Everton thing right now with that, do you think David Moyes could work within those framework with like Kevin Thelwell, or do you think he's still? I don't know. No, I'm making that.
See, I think the problem with people like David Moyes is, and the reason why Manchester United wanted them was because Sir Alex Ferguson was a director of football. He wasn't a manager.
Yeah.
He became he gradually moved away from I mean that's not completely true, but he was a little bit of both. And
he an overseer though, wasn't he? As well?
Gary Neville said, didn't he? Something he only ever went in the changing room and
in the training ground twice.
Carrington twice, and probably had the one before that, the Cliff.
The Cliff, yeah.
Because he let the coaches coach.
Weird place that Cliff played there. That's a weird place.
And I think Moyes, that's why they wanted him, because when he was at Everton, he was the overseer of everything, and he was the director of football, and he was the manager, and he did let coaches coach, and he liked to change his.
Ned just turn Ped's mic up, please. Few people saying he's too quiet. Yeah,
he's not even on. It's he, and I think that's why Moyes was chosen because he was like that. So I don't know whether I don't know. Don't know what he's done since to know what systems he's worked in, but I don't know. I think managers have to be flexible now. But Moyes worked when he was at Everton, he worked with lots of with people, didn't he? He had loads of stats boards and all kinds. On the walls,
he had all the stuff
and all the players and everything, and he knew
knows a lot of players,
knew all the players, knew everything about them. And then maybe it was that last thing of like looking him in the eyes, and maybe that's the thing where he'd still, if he was the manager, maybe he does this at West Ham, but he still wants to do that. And if that's the way you do things, then fine. Do you know what I mean? Like we talked about Potter yesterday. It's like Potter works in a system where if Chelsea signs someone, it's not like he goes, "Oh, I had no idea." He knows that's the framework. They not one system works at every single club.
No,
of course it doesn't. Depends on the manager. You know, you've got to have a system that the manager backs and trusts himself. And I think someone like Moyes might want to see the whites of a player's eyes before he signs them, or
See, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I don't. If that's the way you do things,
I don't think there's anything wrong. I think
if you go through all the process and you look at a player over and over and you get all the stats and he ticks all the boxes, and then you have that final conversation where it is a case of like, is this fella the real deal? Is he going to do what I want him to do? He's going to work hard. Can I trust him? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And you have that meeting, and then you go, no, because that's where
You get the feeling,
you get the feel, don't you? You find out, and maybe that, and the ones where he got wrong at Everton, Moyes, it was the likes of Per Coldrup that he probably never had that conversation with. He probably watched all the videos, and people showed him this and people showed him that, but he probably
Let's be honest, it was Simon Kjaer, wasn't it? Who they showed them the videos of.
Yeah, it's like when Goodison went to Real Madrid. They were, yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's like he was probably one of only a few where he never spoke to him, because everything that summer felt very rushed and felt like that was it was important. We had to get a squad together because we were going into the Champions League, and yeah, it ended up being.
And mad, innit? Because he got, or as it happened, he got Van der Meijden wrong, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he got Simon Davis wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think, when he went for Simon Davis, I remember at the time thinking, that's actually quite a good sign, and that, because he can play a couple of different positions.
Yeah,
but he come and he just was terrible, wasn't he? He was another one
he's like Dwight McNeil.
Yeah, he looked terrified playing for Everton.
There's players you can play for Everton and Anderlecht, and there's players you can't. There's players you can puff the chest out and go genuine. And I think that's why Conor Cody and Tarkowski were brought in, because they are that kind of person. They'll front it.
I know Nana can't he, quite clearly at that age, because he's got that belief in himself, hasn't he? And I spoke to when Ince was over. He was talking about that, and he was saying it's a tough crowd. Everton.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's a tough crowd if you're not playing well, but you've got to give everything for that shirt, and then you can get past it a bit. But he said it can be a difficult place to play, Goodison. This is what he was saying. He said, but if you give everything, they do. You know, once they take you to the heart, they take you to the heart. And that's what it can be like. But some players can't handle the shit. And I know people of other clubs might be like watching us and going, what? Everton? Everton, a big club. Still a big club. It's not a big team. Granted, of course, it's not a big... The league will tell you it's not a big team. It hasn't been a big team for a while. But it's a big football club. And we've got fans across a wide age spread, as every football club has. And we've seen some tremendous players and some tremendous teams over that period of time. And we're brought up as kids on stories of Alan Bourne, the Holy Trinity. When you look back through the history, you know, you only have to go on Twitter and there's like someone always reminds you that Dixie Dean's got the most goals and all that. Great. There's all sorts, isn't there? Everton have had all sorts. Could have been, had loads of firsts. And Everton, a big football club. Historically, still at the moment, it'll be overtaken. It'll be overtaken soon.
No,
but right now, only 3 teams have won the title more than Everton
but
in
forget
history.
about all that, right? So me and Mike, the other day, we had a chat. We were having a chat, me and Mike. Bit of a heart-to-heart. You know, there was murder. What we're saying about Everton is that Jamie came in the other day, Jamie Yates, we were having a chat outside. And he was talking about projects. He said someone doing... he was looking to do a project with Sarah from Mint. We were hoping to get in soon. About just like they're both arty people.
Yeah, he's a photographer, isn't he, Jay?
They go round and they're saying they want to do stuff about Goodison and before we leave. And it's like we were having a chat about him. He's like saying it's not even. It's like obviously I can't wait to leave Goodison. I have no issues with that. I can't. It's a museum. It's the dinosaur exhibition in a museum. But it's like saying that, you know, it's all because he was saying he wanted to go round and get pictures of things that, like, not the things that are around the ground.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, you'll never go back.
No.
You'll never go back. You might have a little drive around it, get out the car maybe once in a while, look at what's being put there. You're never going to go back. You're never going to walk around those streets again. You never. So he was like saying, we're going to do all these photos and stuff. And we were just having a chat and we were saying, no, people talk about Everton, about as a football club, right? Everything. And I'm from a Wales football now. Everything's been through Everton, as in, you know, we were one of the first clubs in the Football League and obviously the Premier League. But, you know, even recently with like Pele, you know, Pele played 2 games at Goodison Park, scored, was literally kicked off the pitch in one of them, and therefore, like, Brazil never won a World Cup because of it.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen Ronaldo play, you know, our Ronaldo, R9. We've seen the other Ronaldo play there. We've seen so many great players. We've seen how much history has gone through Goodison Park. We've seen great players playing for us and great players playing against us. We've seen David Francis' collection, which has got all kinds of Everton stuff, but relates to the wider world of football. We helped create Liverpool Football Club, whether we like it or not. There's so much history. We are, in the context of right now, we're not a big club. I appreciate that. I get that. In the context of the history of football, we are a hugely significant football club. It's a hugely significant football club in the history of football.
Yeah.
And the development of football.
Of course we are. Yeah.
And that should never be forgotten. No. Regardless of where we are now, regardless of what money is coming to football. And, you know, you can't stand still, because if you stand still, you go backwards.
Yeah.
But the traditions of the football club in the last 25 years have been, or longer than that, have been completely eroded to the point where we aren't one of the big clubs. We aren't looked upon as a club that can challenge for the Champions League. Whereas a club like Spurs, who, don't get me wrong, have got similar traditions and similar history in terms of football, but they still can't hold a carrot to what we've done in football.
No.
In terms of domestic trophies, winning the league title and things like that. Yes, they're a big old club as well, but in the last 10, 15 years, they've developed their brand because they've got good people at them, whether people think they are or not. They've had top managers in and out of the place. They've got top players in and out of the place. They've built an absolute magnificent stadium, and they've got brilliant sponsorship deals. They're looked upon as a big Champions League team. You know, when players are moving around Europe, okay, maybe not the absolute elite top level, but that little bit underneath it. They're always linked with Spurs, or Spurs on the lookout for them. Yeah. You know, if Conte goes, they'll be linked with another top manager, and that's where Everton Football Club should be right now. And it's not, and that's, you know, when people talk about us, this history is just going to get, it's getting more and more eroded as we go along, to the point where, you know, we could end up being in the Championship, and then we will literally be forgotten about.
Of course
we'll be forgotten about, because you're yesterday's news, you know. And even right now, we're almost yesterday's news. You know, people are not. You switch on Sky, we're not the top story. They might have talked about us the other day after everything that's gone on, but we're not the top story, and it's just being eroded bit by bit. And people should think about that, and should ask themselves that when they think about the situation that Everton are in, that what Everton were. And it's great to go, well, yeah, but they got this owner and they got that owner and they're based in London. It's like, yeah, but none of that really matters.
You have to deal with whatever you deal with, don't you?
You have to face it up. And
you can still make a fist of it. You can. I don't care what anyone says. It's not. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy to do it, but what I'm saying is you can still make a fist of it quite easily. If you do the right things, you can get a team into Europe in this league, and then it's up to you then how far you run with it. But you've got to do things correctly, and it just seems like right now nobody's, you know.
You have to fight your own corner in the world. You have to make your own headlines. You have to make your own good big decisions. Other people are not going to make them for you. You know, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, we can all, you know, it's so difficult. The biggest issue we've got, you know, apart from outside the club at the moment, is, you know, trying to get people to listen, trying to get people to shine a spotlight on what's going on. You know, I watched John yesterday. Was like, see if you can find a clip of TalkSport from yesterday with Simon Jordan. I found it on their YouTube channel, so I watched it, and there's a lad on there, and he's trying to get across. He's not ranting, he's not raving. He's trying to get across the problems at Everton Football Club. He's trying to, and Jim White's sort of set him up and said, well, what do you think's going on? Is it this Machiavellian conspiracy? And he just went, yeah, it is. He went, whatever they put out at the weekend is a slight on us fans. It's making us look bad instead of them look bad. And Simon Jordan jumped in and went, oh, whoa, I'm not having that. I'm not letting you get away with that. One of your fans run on the pitch and punched my manager in the face. It didn't happen.
It's just the biggest lie I've ever heard.
But no one challenged it. And what
did the lad say?
The lad was basically cut off, or I don't know if he knew what to say, because I suppose in that moment you do get caught. You can be caught in. Well, did he or didn't he? Well, he clearly didn't. He didn't get hit. Yes, some dickhead again went up to him and give him all that. Goaded him. But he didn't actually do anything. He didn't. And Vieira booted him.
Yeah.
And listen, people be on the pitch? No, we understand that. But again, Passagieri, why are you cutting across the middle of the pitch when you were told not to cut across the middle of the pitch at the end of the game? But again, that's his prerogative. But it's that style of journalism which is so annoying as well. Of like, they're talking about it, they want someone who actually understands it. A kid comes on, he's talking about it, he's not getting angry, he's talking, he's getting the facts across, and they cut him off. Yeah. And then they don't let him talk. And we're getting this all the time, and that's why Ian Wright apologising yesterday was important. Is that, you know, people are getting led down a path by these people, and like I said before, they're distracting people from what the real problem is. You know, and again last night I on Twitter I apologised to Sue Smith because what I'd said the other day about it. But what annoyed me about that was, again, it was,
you hadn't abused her, by the way.
No, I hadn't abused her, and she didn't kick off on me, by the way, either.
You asked why she didn't do something.
Yeah,
she changed the comment. Like, let me just do these super chats. Cancer's very own Luke, who is a Premier member, but he's also done a super chat, says commented a few times on Premier, but just popped into my head that you guys deserve this as a thanks at the very least. Much love. Thank you very much, Luke. There you go. What a surprise.
Everton's just released a stadium update video.
But yeah, thank you very much, Luke. Much appreciated for that. I think there was another one as well. There was from Josh Vlogs, who's a West Ham fan. Hello, Josh. Thank you for the super chat, mate. Says, Moyes has given us some great nights, but since January 2022, we've taken 40 league points. I think he may have lost the players.
He did actually say that in that video, didn't he? He said, I mean, obviously...
Watch the diary of the CEO, Josh.
It's your manager.
It's your manager if you want to watch it.
I know it's easy in retrospect, but he does actually say, he said, since January last year, he said that we dropped off massively, and then he said, but still, we could have got sixth.
What I'd say...
He said we're 10 minutes away from getting sixth.
We were. And what I'd say, Josh, right, is that we had this a couple of times with him at Everton, whereas this first season, obviously he was in for the last 10 games or whatever it was, and we stayed up. The next season, we finished 7th. We just missed out on Europe because we lost all our strikers, basically, didn't we, for the last 6 weeks. We got Rooney back, and then they come back bit by bit, and we ended up finishing 7th. The year later... we finished 17th, even though we were safe with like 6 games to go. We lost like 5 of the last 6 games or something, and we ended up dropping down. We were never in danger of going down. And then the year later, we finished 4th. And then after that, we had 11th after 4th, and then we were in the top 6 or 7. Then until he left.
After that, didn't he? It was like he found the formula.
And in the video, he kind of talks about like there's a crossover bit where he wants to change things, and you know, maybe things haven't gone the way he wanted, but he confident he'll get it right. So just watch it. It's good. Diary of a CEO. It's very, very good. But thanks for the super chat as well. But 40 points, mate, bloody hell. Be all right for us at the moment. Ryan Fraser's another one who's been linked. He was linked last night, wasn't he, from Newcastle?
But that's what we're going to get, isn't it?
We are going
to end up with someone like him. That's the point. We're going to end up with someone like Newcastle going, just pays wages for the rest of the season.
You can have him.
You can have him. He'll play.
Scores the odd goal.
No, he's got pace. He always goes against us.
Yeah.
So
that'd help taking him out of that, wouldn't it? Steve P says saw us linked with Conor Gallagher on loan. He definitely improves us, and he'd get in over a Wobie any day of the week for me. People seem to be forgetting how good he is because it's not working for him. At Chelsea, absolutely. Everton are interested, whether or not they get him. Stay is another thing, isn't it? Jamie says, afternoon fellas, would you put up with Begovic until the summer to use the money to sign an attacker and a winger if possible? Also, do you think Cody will be made permanent before his loan expires? I think Cody will be a decision in the summer, to be honest. If the money come in for Jordan Pickford and it was a good offer, then maybe. But if we sold, if you got rid of Pickford,
do you know what I was thinking?
Go on.
And I don't know I honestly don't know what your reaction will be to this. What's his name? The Bravner at Newcastle.
Oh, who's just gone back from, but they just took him back from United, though.
But I think but would you have him?
I would have him, yeah, because he's steady, isn't he? Just steady.
I think that's
goalie.
what I mean. I think a steady goalkeeper would be.
Jordan Pickford is obviously a very good goalie, right?
But if it raised funds to buy forwards,
got to try to move forward. It's who, again though, that falls into the path of it's who you could get then, isn't it? with the money. Do you know what I mean? It's having that pot of money and going, right, who can we get? It's no one who you could get. If we'd have had a pot of money, we could have got Uwatara, early Cumby and maybe Moffey. They've obviously out of our reach now, which is frustrating because they both have been there and we could have got the pair of them. Barry says, happy birthday to Zach, have a boss day. Cheers, mate. Tom says, fellas, you were my only hope for talking down the dice shouts. Now Ped's saying he'd have him.
No, I didn't.
Hang on, and Baz, you didn't shoot him down. Hang on, whoa.
No.
Whoa, Tom, whoa. Right? Sean Dyche is obviously a decent manager, right? He wouldn't be my choice. I understand why people are thinking that he would. He did only win 3 games and Burnley would have gone down with him in charge. End of. He was never turning that round. The players had gone. He beat Everton's the only win he got. The players weren't interested. It obviously cycles as well. Don't forget he'd been there a long time, and then things that he does probably after a bit it start. Klopp's finding it at Liverpool, and he's a tremendous manager. That your voice after a period of time. It's why Alex Ferguson used to always bring in different assistant managers every 3 years to give a different voice. Moyes says it on the thing about Everton last night. He was like, I was very wary that they were probably like bored of me, the fans as well. Great going, we'll have this manager for 10 years, but if you're a player who's there a lot, what can Sean Dyche say that's going to make you go, I haven't heard that before?
No, but he might tactically put Everton
threatening you.
No, but he might put you in he might tactically put you in a system.
But what Tom says though, you know, been relegated twice and he won 3 games out of 30, so he wasn't tactically able to put Burnley in a good place.
He didn't get relegated last season. They changed the manager. They
took them down though, wasn't he?
Michael Jackson took them down last season or whatever. Nobody did though. I mean,
if you've got 7 games.
Nobody did though. He took them down. He did. Sean Dyche didn't take them down last season.
So Shearer took Newcastle down.
Yeah. Shearer took them down.
He only had 8 games.
But that's not the point. No, but that's fine. But you can't make up things and say Sean Dyche.
Well, he did get them relegated.
He has had them relegated and got them back up. Yeah. What I'm saying is, if you want a manager to come in and try and put your team in get a formation and change it like an Allardyce thing, then I said Sean Dyche is your man. There's I can't see anyone who can argue with that. Sean Dyche, if you want that system or you want that, that's what Sean Dyche is for. It all depends what you want. If you want a manager who's going to come in and it's a short-term appointment and his job is to try and keep Everton in the Premier League, for me, the only person out there who can do that particular job is probably Sean Dyche, or nothing short of a Sam Allardyce. If you think there's more in this squad, if you think that Everton can change to a free-flowing style of play and get more out of it that way, then there's loads of people out there that could do it. But if you want to go, right, we're going 4-4-2, we're going back to basics, we're going to be tough, we're going to be hard work, and we're going to do all those things that all those tick box things, then Sean Dyche is your man. That can't be dismissed. But if you think there's more in this squad and you can actually play 2 up front, but you can get a good shape in midfield and you can have movement, and he's not your man. He's not your man. So it all comes down to who makes that decision. And at the moment, no one is brave enough to make that decision. But what I would say is, Frank Lampard is caught between the two at the moment.
Yeah. No,
he knows he can't play. He knows he can't play free-flowing football because he doesn't have the players, but he also isn't tactically announced enough to set us up in a way that is like the 5 at the back but at home. He doesn't know where it's. So on Saturday, he probably should have gone for someone like Dwight McNeil at left wing back, certainly in the second half, to give us a bit more going forward. That's how you use the same system, but you go, when you're away, the full-backs sit back. When you're at home, the wing-backs go high. And that's has he got... He's caught now. He's caught between Devil and Deep Blue Sea. But so's the football club.
Sean Dyche has got a 35% win rate. He's lost more games than he's won as a manager.
What's Frank's?
About 29. No, I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying it. I'm just giving you the facts. They're the facts. He's lost more games than he's won as a manager.
But then there's also the thought that he was the Burnley manager. You know, how at this at Bournemouth, you learn from what you do. You learn from who you are and where you are. And sometimes you can scoff at what people do, but then you have to put things into context and go, how was at Bournemouth and he did a remarkable.
Frank Lampard's win rate's 43.5%.
Not at
overall.
Everton,
Well, it's not at Everton. But I'm just saying
most
overall.
of that'll be at Chelsea.
I'm just saying overall.
Yeah.
Overall. They had the 42% win rate at Derby, 52% win rate at Chelsea, 27% win rate at Everton. He's managed 43 games for Everton. He's won 12 of them, drew 8 and lost 23. There you go. And we'll have, since that we're doing the comparisons, we'll have a look at. I'm afraid to say
Are
it.
we really comparing
But it's Moyes.
Lampard to? Are we comparing to Moyes now?
No, I'm just doing the 3.
Listen.
No, I'm just
Listen,
doing the
if
3.
Moyes gets sacked on Saturday, Frank gets sacked,
I'm just doing
and
the
it's
3.
between Moyes and I'd have Moyes.
I'm just doing
just
the
would.
3. David Moyes' win rate is 42.38%. Biggest win rate was at United, just under 53% of his games he won. Everton's 42%. Preston 47, 28 at Real Sociedad, 18 at Sunderland, 29 at West Ham, and this time at West Ham he's got a 44.67 win rate. He's won 453 games in his managerial career and lost 348, so he's won comfortably. So on those bases, David Moyes is by far a better. No, I'm saying he's by far a better choice for the managerial job than what Sean Dyche is. So there, Tom. Luke says the shows have been absolutely brilliant lately. Credit to you all. Levels have truly up. Toffee TV's headed in one direction, very much the opposite direction to the club. Glenn says, Ped, if we sign Conor Gallagher, is there a danger of excuse me, there being confusion on the pitch because there's 2 Connors? Would you suggest a nickname to avoid confusion? Could Conor Cody be called Dad? And could Conor Gallagher be called Wolf? Would that work? I don't know where Glenn's coming from, but there you go.
I have no idea.
No? Jay says, obviously we need a striker and a goal scorer and winger, but another concern is we have no one to create the chances. I've got a feeling Frank and Kevin are doing the right things, but those above probably make them bang their heads against the wall. Probably. I'd like a nasty, horrible, selfish striker like Morelos at Rangers. Bainey says, afternoon boyos, hope you're both well. Nice to see, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, the press seems to have turned on the Everton hierarchy after they tried to make the fans the problem. The echo seemed to be on the side of the fans, the apology from Ian Wright, etc. Finally, pressure coming from other sources other than just the fans. Hope it continues. Feels that way.
I think the thing is, though, the next home game is 2.5 weeks away, isn't it? It gives the ball out, the story goes away, or they can change the narrative of it. I mean, because they keep changing the narrative on what happened when did it happen? When did the altercation with Denise Barrett-Baxendale happen? Because they keep changing that story as well. So I think they keep on changing it so that people keep on focusing it, maybe to keep us away from asking more serious questions. Although, you know, an assault on a female is a very serious thing. Anyway.
Steve says, scary question for you both, but would you have Allardyce back right now? I was thinking about it last night. I genuinely would, and it terrified me. We'd 100% have a better chance of staying up. If we get beat by West Ham, do you believe he'll be gone? I saw a report saying unless there's a major U-turn, Mancherial has no intention of sacking Frank Lampard. How could there possibly be a major U-turn when we're getting beat every game and we're bottom of the league? We couldn't be any worse if we tried. I wouldn't be listening to anyone who puts things like that. Mancherial's got no intention of sacking him. Don't believe that for a second. This is the fella that has sacked many managers for being in far better positions than Everton are right now. I think it's like Ped basically said, there's a 2-week window here where they can get their heads together. And I go as far as saying I wouldn't even be 100% certain that even if Everton win on Saturday, he won't be sacked in this break. No one could look at it and go, it's all right. I hope Everton win at the weekend, and for Frank, I'd love him to put this run together and drag him and us out of this mess. I just don't know what's happening.
Could you see any way that, you know, Saturday, whatever happens, they get to Monday morning, they have a meeting, and they basically say to him, "You're not having any money," that he walks.
If there's no money, yeah. Because why would, if you're him, there's not enough. We said it before. The answers aren't in the building. No. They're really not. Dom will make, if Dom can start scoring, that'd make a huge difference. But he can't do it on his own. Dominic Calvert-Lewin getting 8-9 goals between now and the end of the season isn't going to keep Everton up. They need other goals from other areas. And there's no other goals in that squad. None. So, but I do know they are talking to players, so there must be some kind of budget, isn't it, to get people in. It's whether they can get them over the line. Terry Mack says, afternoon lads, Jason Burt and Matt Law have both just broken. If Moyes loses, that's it. He'll be sacked, but then he'll probably be given the Everton job shortly after. I personally prefer Sean Dyche, but how bad is it that we've been ran so poorly in the last few years that going back to Moyes would now be a massive improvement? That'll probably see the director football model out of the window too, because we know Moyes operates in an old school way where manager is the king. I mean, I have no idea if Moyes would work with a director of football. None whatsoever. But if he wanted the Everton job, and that's the model we've got in, he'd have to accept it, wouldn't he? If he didn't like it, he wouldn't take the job, would he? So, Bainey says, one of my biggest issues at the moment is, from a player's perspective, is the inconsistency of the likes of Gray. He's supposed to be a winger. He's supposed to be one of the supply lines. I know he scored a wonder goal against City, which got him goal of the month, but personally I find him selfish and overplays and makes a lot of mistakes.
He's a very, very average player, but he's one of our better players, so that tells you everything you need to know. It's not, I don't feel like it's rocket science. He's not a particularly good player because he hasn't got consistency, and that doesn't mean that he's not one of our best players.
He's got talent,
because that makes him one of our best players. But and that shows you how bad we are.
Elizabeth says the non-story distraction technique is known as the dead cat strategy.
Yeah.
The Tories are masters of it.
Yeah,
Shameful at our club is resorting to these tactics, a clear sign of desperation.
Absolutely.
On their part. Jay says, can we loan a certain Spurs substitute? We think he's fucking brilliant. Newcastle are apparently interested in Anthony Gordon, aren't they?
Oh, God, take him.
Pay them money.
Just take him.
I've just seen someone say, can Dyche get the best out of McNeil? God help us.
To be fair, he couldn't last season.
The Blues says deluded if you think the players aren't trying.
I don't think anyone's deluded, but there are different levels to trying though. Was Damari Gray trying when he fell up, when he went on the floor on Saturday and that led to their goal? He's sitting on the floor throwing your arms up trying. Is that trying? Or is that just complaining?
No, I think the Blues wants everyone to believe Everton are dreadful. All the players are doing the best and no one can fix it. But everyone copes.
No, I know, but
that's massive. What he thinks is massively wrong.
No, but
that's the way it is.
But that's the point though, isn't it? If everyone's trying, he gets off his arse there and he chases back. He doesn't go like that.
Mate, if he's trying, he gets it out of his feet and crosses the ball.
Yeah.
End of story. Chris wants to know what happened with Delhi. Sending our only number 10 on loan is mental unless there was something like that. He didn't exactly make a case though, Chris, did he, to stay?
Again, this is a case of players who've not done well for us becoming better because other people are crap. But this happens all the time in football. People who sit on the bench, that means you've got to give them a go. When people are on loan, you got to get them back, and you get them back. Look at Sims.
Rich Nichols said, did you see Lescott on Vibe with 5? Just seen on Twitter, he said Everton fans are wild and he's not as surprised about the headlock.
No, but I did have a phone call from Vibe with 5 though, so
did you?
Maybe one of us will go on and answer that.
Delhi was on huge money, that's why. Where are we? That's gone quickly. John Jones says we need to sack the board. We need to park the sack the ball thing now because it'll open up another massive can of worms. No one's going to park it, John. Nobody. because it's gone too far, mate. There's a petition now for you that anyone can sign.
Yeah.
It's not getting parked anywhere, mate, because people will turn round and go, nah, mate, because we've done this lots of times. We've backed down, and we're still the same football club. People want change. That's not even an option anymore. So, Dave Thomas says Ian Wright has said sorry to Alan Stubbs for telling Bruce Rioch not to sign him. Stubbs went to Celtic. Okay. Ian Wright just deciding to come out and
throwing the apologies out.
Throwing apologies. Has he been visited by the three ghosts at Christmas or something? Mark Ablett says, I actually think Big Dunk should have been given the job, given a headbutt for players who don't pull their fingers out. Well, a lot of people said he wasn't good enough for the job, didn't he? Can't give him that. He's got no experience. And yet, we'd chosen ridiculous. Would he have done any worse? That's what you've got to ask yourself. I do laugh when people go, this manager will sort it, and that manager as if he could do anything. It's hilarious. It just shows how little people actually know about football. But it is funny, because the reality is, right? Nobody has a clue how to fix this. No fan has a clue, because we tried lots of different managers. Right? The best manager could be Wayne Rooney, could be perfect, or it could be...
You really want Wayne Rooney to be manager?
No, I'd rather him than fucking Dyche. Or it could be Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche could be perfect for Everton, absolutely perfect. It could be David Moyes. It could be Adi Hutter. It could be Dominic Tedesco. It could be Lucien. We don't know is the reality. So we all need to just, and me included, just go, well, you know what? Whatever happens, I'm going to back the manager. Stop having these things. If he wouldn't be any good, he wouldn't be. Mikel Arteta had no experience, none whatsoever. So there you go. You don't have a clue, because this club is mad, and it takes a different type of, whoever comes in. I don't know. Right. Just there, Dembele said he'd like to come to us over any other team. Didn't someone else say before Dembele said he doesn't want to come to Everton? I don't know. No, Saberio numero uno. I'm saying it could be anybody. Because the reality is, I don't know. I'm fed up of us getting managers that come in and we end up replacing them quickly, because it hasn't worked. And it just makes me laugh when I see these conversations on Twitter or whatever, where people are like, Rooney, that's laughable, but get Dyche. You're like, okay. And then it's Dyche, and you see someone, Dyche is a joke, get Allardyce. And then Allardyce is crap, get this fella, and this fella, and this. And it's like, none of us know. That's the reality. Stop moaning about people and just see what happens. Forest, I don't know who you support. Benitez started all of this, so no. And I did see you say something before, like Dyche, why would Dyche go to Everton? It's below him or something, which is embarrassing. But there you go. Yeah. Right. I'll just slide the... Saberio numero uno. I'm not anti-Dyche either. I have just, again, I don't know how many times I say.
Uncle Dyche.
Uncle Dyche, yeah. Not anti-Dyche. People don't listen. I found that the more people just hear.
Yeah,
it's like
why would you have that t-shirt on yesterday saying, I really, really dislike Sean Dyche?
I like Sean. As a person, I've watched the thing with him on the High Performance. He's great. I think he's a great fella. I'm saying, would he come in and do the job for Everton? I don't know. Is the reality? I really don't know. And to me, it just feels like, again, like it might end up in a short-term appointment again. If he went, I'll sign a 6-month deal and I'll prove myself. Fair enough. Bobby Joe says Ruben Amorim. Yeah, he's another highly rated manager. Could do a tremendous job, but also could be, I don't know, could be terrible, couldn't it? It's the reality. Vita Pereira might have been amazing. To put that captain's armband on, stood on the side, going on Sky Sports, crying when we lost. He could have been amazing, couldn't he? But the reality is, people were just like, no, I don't really think. I don't really think
No, yeah.
it would happen. Carlos says, why would you park the sack the board thing after the way the club has spoken about us in the past week? That's enough to push it fair. It's never getting parked. It's done. It's absolutely gone too far. That people are not going to back down because we have tried to do the thing of just let things go on and hope it gets better, and we've ended up in a worse position. It won't happen now. Once you start blaming the fans, who are the only good real thing about the football club. You know, Moyes says on that thing last night, and it was what we said the other day, he was like, supporters, right? Supporters want players that they can get behind, and kids want players to get the name on the back. Yeah. Everton don't have any.
Can I just break this up with just a genuine tremendous story?
Go on.
So it's been reported how Shakira found that Gerard Piqué was cheating on her.
Oh,
right.
Go on.
So what it was she found that someone had been eating her strawberry jam, and Gerard Piqué doesn't like strawberry jam. So
that's the most amateurish thing he's done.
So she worked out that somebody had gone in and been eating it, and obviously put all the pieces together and found that he'd been dipping his toe in someone else's swimming pool.
Dipping something in someone else's jam.
So yeah. So
I did like the thing the other day.
She said, sorry, let me just. She said she has put a lyric in one of her songs that he'd replaced. What was it? Ferrari for a Twingo or something.
And a Rolex for a Casio. Yeah. So last week in training, he turned up in a Twingo and went and showed his Casio watch off when he got out of the press, which I thought was tremendous from him. The thing about it is, you know, Shakira mustn't be all Arab. He's gone somewhere else, must he? The hips maybe do lie.
Maybe she's just a massive tit.
That's what I mean. I always think with Jennifer Aniston, she's like so nice.
What's she got to do with it?
No, I'm saying because she's so nice. Yeah. But no, she's never like being. No one's fellas have always.
No one's parked their bike long enough.
Everyone's walked away, haven't they? So
maybe she's just a massive crank.
Yeah, maybe. She's good in a morning show though.
Yeah, morning show's a great show.
It is a great show.
It is a great show.
There you go. I mean, who thought we'd be discussing Shakira
I think
swapping Ferraris? No, it was a massively important thing.
It's massively important to discuss those things.
Saberio, yes, I'd give Addy Hutter a go, but it is all a bit mad.
When are you going to watch The Last of Us?
I don't know. It's the game is stressful. Kiriakis says, hi lads, you think we'll both sign a couple of players before? I do think we will sign a couple of players. I don't know.
Who does he support?
He's a Premier member.
Oh, but he said both. Like.
Hi lads, do you both?
Oh, sorry.
Think
I thought,
we will?
we both?
No.
Sorry.
Do us think we'll sign a couple of players? What about this from Stuart Lowe? Great show, guys. Can you try getting on TalkSport to have our date? Not going on TalkSport. Murdoch owned. Son of the big sponsors. Son of the big sponsors.
Let them have the little.
Leave them be. Also, could you get Alan Stubbs on the sofa?
We'll try.
On that note, I think we're going. I'm just doing the final refresh on Everton have been linked with Danish goalkeeper, Brøndby keeper Mads Hermansen, 22-year-old. Everton and Napoli are interested in him.
You're going to say pastry then?
For the I know what I could do with right now. A Danish from Costco. No, because I'm not going to find calories. I just said I could do it.
Does it say at the top?
No, I've got me lunch.
What are you saying it for? Because now everyone is thinking it now.
I just thought a nice
Everyone's like that now.
Danish. And a Costco Danish
so
now.
The thing about that is,
been lovely.
that was a little social experiment. If you know the way everyone's now thinking about Danishes, if you own a company and you'd like us to talk about your thing that we can talk about and get that in their minds, then get in touch with us.
Get in touch with us and sponsor us. And also, if you are a very, very wealthy businessman with lots of money, maybe even Elon Musk if he's watching this, buy Everton very quickly, please. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Sub on the way out. Give the video a thumbs up and have a great afternoon. Don't forget, it is the club call tonight.
Club call.
Will be joined by John Blaine.
Club call.
So there you go. Should be interesting. Should be fiery. Take care. That is the new jingle which Ned's going to sort.
Club call. Club call.
We're going.
Club call.
Dave Thomas says bacon on toast.
Club
right.
Call. Club call.
And Tazul says, Bas and Ped, would you eat Shakira's strawberry jam? Right, I'm going. Take care. See you later. Bye.